Stop lying to yourself. That tightness in your chest isn't just stress, it's the sound of your soul screaming, because you are living against your natural frequency. Every morning, you wake up tired before the day even begins, not because you didn't sleep well, but because your nervous system is already bracing for another day of survival. Every night, you pray for a miracle that never comes, not because miracles don't exist, but because your brain has been conditioned to perceive only lack, only struggle, only the next bill, the next deadline, the next crisis that hasn't even happened yet. You've worked harder than everyone you know. You've stayed up late, woken up early, skipped meals, ignored your body's protests, all while smiling through the pain, because you were taught that sacrifice equals worth. You've given more than you had, more than you thought you could, more than anyone should ever ask of another human being. And still, the weight grows heavier, the sleepless nights pile up, the bills keep coming, the voice inside whispers you're not enough, not blessed, not worthy. But that voice isn't yours. It's the slave wave talking, the frantic beta brain state that keeps you trapped in a cycle of lack, not because you're weak, but because the system has hacked your biology. The system doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about keeping you in a state where you'll keep consuming, keep working, keep striving, and never question why the peace you crave always feels just out of reach. You don't hear abundance because your brain can't receive the signal. You're shouting into a dead channel while the universe is trying to send you love in waves of golden light. But your hippocampus, the sacred organ that connects you to divine intelligence, has been shrunk by decades of stress, debt, and survival mode. Neuroscientists have proven it. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus by up to 25%. That's not a metaphor, that's measurable atrophy. Your hippocampus is the antenna that tunes into the frequency of miracles. When it's damaged, you can't perceive miracles, even when they're standing right in front of you. You feel abandoned by God because your hippocampus is so damaged it can't hear the divine anymore. The tightness in your chest isn't anxiety. It's the physical proof that your soul is trying to break free from a cage. It wasn't meant to live in the mental fog. Isn't laziness. It's your brain starved for theta. Waves, the billionaire brain state of flow and creation. The sleepless nights aren't weakness. They're your body refusing to rest in a frequency that isn't yours. You've been taught that struggle is holy, that poverty is a test, that you must earn love through suffering. But what if the real test was waking up and realizing you were never meant to live like this? What if the system that profits from your stress has been using science to keep you small all along? The CIA called it psychic driving in the 1970s. They used sound waves to reprogram minds, not for healing, but for control. They discovered that specific frequencies could shatter a person's sense of reality, induce hallucinations, and rewrite belief systems. Now the same frequencies are being broadcast into your life, not through secret government labs, but through the very devices you carry in your pocket. Every beep of your phone every news alert, every social media scroll is a tiny electric shock to your nervous system, designed to keep your brain stuck in beta. Beta is the state of fight or flight, of scarcity, of desperation. It's the state where you see dollar signs in every expense and threats in every shadow. It's the state where the universe's gifts bounce off your consciousness like raindrops off a raincoat. You're not broken, you've been hijacked. The deep reason you are going through this pain is specifically because of your shrunken hippocampus. That is the root cause. So if you want to start changing this reality today by simply regrowing this connection with a sound wave, then click the link in the description right now and change your life today. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about what really happens when your hippocampus shrinks, not just in terms of memory loss, but in terms of your entire perception of reality. The hippocampus is not just a memory bank, it's the conductor of your nervous system. It regulates cortisol, the stress hormone, that when chronically elevated literally dissolves brain cells. It integrates sensory input and emotional responses, determining whether you feel safe or threatened, abundant or lacking. When it's damaged, your entire internal compass spins out of control. You start seeing threats where there are none. You start believing scarcity is the only truth. You start chasing money like a starving dog chases a bone, not because you want wealth, but because you're terrified of poverty. And the more you chase, the more it eludes you, because fear repels abundance. Think about the last time you felt truly at ease. Maybe it was on a hike in the mountains, or sitting by the ocean, or even just waking up on a Saturday morning with nowhere to be. In those moments, your breathing slows, your thoughts quiet, your body relaxes. That's theta brainwave activity, the state where miracles happen. Theta is the frequency of creativity, intuition, and flow. It's where artists get their ideas, where inventors have their breakthroughs, where lovers feel inexplicably connected. Theta is also the state where you receive downloads from the universe, those sudden insights, those undeniable gut feelings, those moments when everything just clicks. But if your hippocampus is shrunk, theta becomes a distant memory. You're stuck in beta, where every thought is a problem to solve, every emotion is a threat to avoid, and every day is a battle. Now let's talk about the wealthy, not the people who inherited money, but the ones who built wealth from nothing, the ones who seem to have a magic touch. Opportunities appear out of nowhere, deals close effortlessly, money flows in from unexpected sources. What's their secret? They operate in theta. They don't force abundance. They don't hustle out of, for they flow with life. They receive effortlessly. They don't chase abundance, because abundance chases them. And why do they operate in theta? Because their hippocampus is healthy, unshaken by chronic stress. They've trained their nervous system to stay calm even in chaos. They've conditioned their brain to perceive opportunity, not obstacles. They've rewired their biology to vibrate at the frequency of abundance. Meanwhile, the poor operate in beta, not because they are lazy, but because beta is the default state when your hippocampus is damaged. Beta is the state of scarcity, of desperation, of believing that money is hard to come by. And security is an illusion. Beta is the state where you see dollar signs in every expense and threats in every shadow. Beta is the state where the universe's gifts bounce off your consciousness like raindrops off a raincoat. And the system ensures you stay in beta through debt, through stress, through constant stimulation, every alarm that jolts you awake, every notification that steals your focus, every news headline that floods your brain with doom. The system doesn't want you in theta. It wants you in beta because beta is a consumer state. Beta is a state of dependence. Beta is where you'll keep working, keep buying, keep striving, never questioning why the peace you crave always feels just out of reach. Powerful organizations have known about this for decades. They've studied how sound waves can alter brain states. They've used it to create soldiers who don't feel pain, to design advertisements that hijack your dopamine, to keep entire populations in a state of fear and consumption. Remember the 1950 when Coca-Cola used jingles and bright colors to create artificial cravings? That wasn't just marketing. That was neuroscience. That was sound and color frequencies designed to trigger dopamine releases in your brain, making you associate happiness with consumption. Or think about the 2008 financial crisis. Why did so many people panic and sell their investments at the worst possible time? Because their amygdala, the fear center of the brain, was hijacked by constant media alerts about economic collapse. Fear cells panic cells. And the more you're exposed to it, the more your brain gets wired to expect disaster. That's not an accident, that's design. But here's the ancient secret. They don't want you to know your brain can regrow, your hippocampus can expand. And the fastest way to do it is with a frequency that resonates with your soul's natural state. It's not about positive thinking. It's about biological restoration. The sound wave I'm about to share with you doesn't ask you to believe harder. It rewires you. It shifts your brain from beta to theta in minutes. It doesn't care about your past failures. It only cares about your future freedom. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a nurse in her early 40s, working 60-hour weeks, barely sleeping, constantly stressed about bills and her aging parents. She'd wake up at 3 a.m. with her heart racing, convinced something was wrong, even though her doctor said her heart was healthy. She'd tried to meditate, but her mind was a storm. She'd tried to journal, but her thoughts were scattered. She'd tried to pray, but she felt like God wasn't listening. Then she found a study about hippocampal atrophy in people with chronic stress. She learned that meditation could help regrow the hippocampus, but only if she could stay consistent. So she tried the 7-minute sound ritual, not because she believed it would work, but because she was desperate. On the 3rd day, she noticed her racing heart had slowed. On the 5th day, she slept through the night for the first time in years. On the 7th day, she woke up without an alarm and felt light, not happy, not euphoric, just light, like the weight she'd been carrying for years had dissolved. Within a month, she started noticing synchronicities, opportunities she'd never seen before, connections that led to unexpected income, a sense of calm she didn't know was possible. Her hippocampus wasn't just healing, it was expanding, and her reality was shifting with it. You've been told healing takes years, that you must meditate for hours, journal for decades, work on your mindset until you're exhausted. But what if the answer was simpler than you dared to hope? What if your liberation was just 7 minutes away? The 7-minute sound ritual isn't a product, it's a blessing. It's a tool of liberation handed down from ancient healers who understood the power of sacred sound. When you listen, you're not just relaxing, you're restoring the organ that connects you to God. You're retuning your brain to its natural frequency. You're telling your hippocampus, I am ready to receive abundance again. And when you do, the tightness in your chest dissolves, the sleepless nights, and the universe begins to respond, because you're finally on the same wavelength as miracles. The benefits aren't vague promises, they are physical transformations. Peace of mind isn't a spiritual concept, it's a biological state your brain can return to when it's no longer hijacked by stress. Money appears when you least expect it, because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency of lack. Your intuition sharpens so you can sense danger before it arrives, and opportunities before they are obvious. The physical feeling of stress melting away isn't a metaphor, it's the literal shrinking of your amygdala and the expansion of your hippocampus after just 7 days of listening. Studies show that regular theta wave exposure can increase hippocampal volume by up to 15% in as little as 8 weeks. That's not magic, that's neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself in response to precise stimuli. Think about a time you felt truly in flow. Maybe it was playing an instrument, or writing, or solving a complex problem without even trying. That's theta. That's your hippocampus working at full capacity, integrating information effortlessly, allowing you to tap into a higher intelligence. Now imagine if you could access that state whenever you wanted, not just in rare moments, but consistently. That's what the sound wave offers. It's not a temporary fix, it's a biological upgrade. It's your brain learning to operate at its highest potential. Let me tell you about Mark. He was a salesman who'd spent years in a cycle of feast and famine, months of high income, followed by months of scrambling to pay rent. He'd wake up every day feeling like he was one bad month away from disaster. He tried affirmations, visualization, even therapy, but nothing stuck. Then he discovered the link between hippocampal health and financial flow. He started the 7-minute sound ritual every morning before work. Within 2 weeks, he noticed his sales calls went smoother. Clients who'd previously ghosted him suddenly responded. Deals that had stalled for months closed in days. He started receiving unexpected referrals. He even found $20 in an old jacket pocket a synchronicity he would have dismissed, but now saw as a sign. He was in alignment. His income doubled in 3 months. Not because he worked harder, but because he stopped vibrating at the frequency of, like his hippocampus expanded. And his reality followed you. Don't need to work harder, you. Don't need to pray more, you. Just need to heal the organ that's been broken. And the sound wave is waiting for you. It's not in your head, it's in the link below the sound. Wave is a 7Hz frequency, the same frequency used in ancient healing temples to induce theta states. 7Hz is the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the earth itself. It's the frequency that synchronizes your brain waves to the earth's natural pulse, grounding you in a state of safety and receptivity. When you listen to this frequency, your brain waves begin to entrain to it, shifting from beta to theta in minutes. You're not just relaxing, you're resetting your nervous system to its factory settings. You're telling your body that safety is possible, that abundance is natural, that miracles are normal. But why 7 minutes? Because that's the amount of time it takes for brainwave entrainment to take effect. After 7 minutes, your brain waves begin to sync with the frequency, and the changes become measurable. After 7 days of consistent use, the changes become permanent. Your hippocampus begins to regrow, your amygdala shrinks, your entire nervous system recalibrates, and your reality shifts with it. You've spent years trying to think your way out of this prison, but the mind follows the body follows the frequency. The frequency is waiting for you. Right now, click the link, listen for 7 days, and watch as the universe begins to mirror the peace you've finally given yourself. The sound wave doesn't judge you. It doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for 7 minutes of your time. 7 minutes to restore what was stolen from you. 7 minutes to reclaim your birthright of ease. 7 minutes to finally hear the universe again. I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. But it's not. It's science. It's ancient wisdom. It's the missing link between struggle and ease. The link is waiting. Your healing is waiting. The abundance you've been praying for is waiting. Click it, listen, and let the transformation begin. The sound wave is waiting for you at the link in the description. It's not a product, it's a rescue, a 7-minute ritual that will reconnect you to the abundance that is already yours. Don't let another sleepless night pass in. Fear, don't let another bill collector's call shatter your peace. The sound wave is your key. Click the link, listen for 7 days, and watch as the universe begins to mirror the peace you've finally given yourself.